Okay, y'all, I am currently reading Summer Camp for Slasher Victims on Kindle Unlimited. I'm not gonna lie, I think I actually saw this book on like a Pinterest picture, and so I was going to buy the book, but then I saw it was on Kindle Unlimited, and I'm like, perfect. I can read it, see if I like it, and then buy the book if I want to add it to my collection. And so far, I think just over halfway through. Summer Camp for Slasher Victims is literally what it is. There is a summer camp called Camp Safe Woods. It is literally geared towards children who have had traumatic experiences in their life. And throughout the story, we kind of are introduced to various kids and counselors' experiences, and they are all pretty traumatic. Like, people have escaped murder sprees. There was a lot of different variations of like how you were able to attend the camp. The author does a really good job of creating suspense. There was one scene specifically when all the counselors got there, because they got there like 2 days before the campers to get everything set up. There is Annie. Annie is the camp owner's granddaughter, so she herself has never had traumatizing experiences, but Mitch, who is the campground owner, he was just like, you should just come out and be a counselor for like the summer. The other female camp counselors are like, hey, we'll show you like the bathrooms. Honestly, not the bathrooms, but the shower situation. And they recommended like showering at night. And Annie's like, no thanks, that's good. Like, I'm not gonna be walking in the dark to go take a shower at night. And they're like, no. Well, like, group activity, like, we'll always, like, at least travel in groups of 2 to go take a shower. It's fine. Plus, you don't want to be doing it, like, in the morning when all, like, the campers are awake, because, you know, the boys got a bunch of little horny teenage boys at the camp, so they're like, trust us, you want to do it at night when all the campers are in their beds and asleep. She's in the slightly creepy bathroom shower situation, and one of the girls is like, oh crap, I forgot something. And they went in this group of 3, and so the other girl was like, well, I'll go with you, just obviously because they want to travel in groups. So Annie is left alone in the showers. And obviously, like, when you're left alone, and not only a new place, but a new place that's a little sketchy feeling, a new place that is like out in the woods, it's dark, like you hear a noise and you just don't even know what it is. It's starting to build that suspense of like, you yourself, if you've ever gone camping, I literally had flashbacks of this one time where for 6th grade, we went camping. I remember there was a night where I had to use the restroom. So you wake up and you have to wake up someone else to go to the restroom with you. I remember finishing up using the restroom before my counterpart did. So I was just kind of like standing in like the area by the sinks by myself, and it was just like kind of creepy. And I was just having like flashbacks to that. And the light system in their showers was the same light system that was in the bathroom, where it had set on a timer so that you don't just have the lights sitting on 24/7. And so I just remember there was the explanation of like the ticking of the timer, and I'm like, oh my god, I totally know that feeling and that vibe. So I don't know, maybe it was creepy because I was just pulling from my own memories and experience, but I thought the fact that the writing style was able to pull that from my own memories and experience was impressive in and of itself. Woo! Like, I'm getting chills right now just like replaying it in my head. So just little things like that kept happening throughout the story. There was an incident with a bear trap, and I'm like, oh my god, it's the killer. Oh my god. And then there was like just little things that were mentioned. One of the counselors is like, yeah, it's not like you're gonna step in a bear trap. And I'm like, I know that bear trap's gonna come back into play. Someone is gonna step in a bear trap and lose their foot. Just little nuggets of information. But the part I'm at now, we have our first killing. And well, the first person that discovers her is a camper, because there is a service dog named Woodsby. And the service dog, they could hear him barking, freaking the F out. And they're like, what is going on? And the only reason they really heard him is because they were going to the bathroom. And as they're about to leave the bathroom, they see Woodsby standing outside the bathroom. And they're like, what is he doing here? Because Woodsby is the camp nurse's dog. So usually he's just chilling in like the nurse's station. And so it was Billy, Al, and Haley. And Billy was like, well, I'll help Al back to the cabin. And Haley's like, I'll follow Woodsby to kind of like just see what's going on. And Woodsby leads her to the nurse's station where there is a pool of blood coming out from underneath the doorway. And so Haley is the first person to discover Sherry. Oh, I felt so bad. Sherry was like honestly one of my favorite characters. The female camp counselors were showering and Haley like ran into their shower. And Haley was like covered in blood because like, I actually don't know why she was fully covered in blood. That part didn't quite make sense actually. Because I would understand why her shoes might have blood in it because she stepped in it, but like there was no explanation of her, you know, checking for a pulse or anything on Nurse Sherry. Did I just have an epiphany that Haley's the killer? Also, y'all, Haley's dad is apparently a murderer and she's been sending letters to him. First off, she's under the assumption that her dad doesn't know that he has a daughter because she was born after he was like sentenced and put into jail for murder. And in the past year or so, she started sending letters to her dad, not noting that she's her daughter at all, just kind of like sending letters to her dad. And the dad's been like explaining how he's innocent, but she's just like, I just feel like he's innocent. Oh my God. And at first I had like a quick little thought of maybe he is the murderer. This book is really fun, y'all. I feel like I've just been plowing through it. Like when I actually sit down and read it, I'm like just inhaling it really quickly. So, oh man, my brain's just like rolling on what the like literally from the end of the prologue, the entire story. I've been trying to figure out who the killer is because we technically are introduced to the killer in the prologue. We don't know what the killer looks like. We just got a description of what they were wearing, which isn't very helpful because you can obviously change clothing. But now I'm starting to think maybe Haley, why was she covered in blood? And there was a scene after the fact where her and Billy, the camp counselors told him to just stay in the shower room, like just stay here. We're gonna go investigate. And her and Billy curled up in a shower, trying to like, you know, hide. And it was explained that Haley was asleep, fast asleep, like nothing even happened. Where I feel like if I saw a dead body, I'm like adrenaline would be coursing through my veins and I would be freaking the F out. Interesting. Now I really want to finish this book so I can like check back in with you guys and let you know what happened. But it's been a really fun read so far. Summer Camp for Slasher Victims. Finished it last night. Kind of saw this coming, which was kind of a bummer. Like it wasn't a bummer in the sense like literally obviously yesterday, y'all, I had the epiphany of like, oh my God, what if it's like this whole crazy scenario. Saw the ending coming from literally the jump. I kind of guessed who it was right away, and actually I'm kind of bummed that I guessed who it was right away, but also at the same time, hold on, I forgot my hair looks wild. Although the slasher was obvious, in my personal opinion, in explaining why their intention was to kill everyone at the summer camp, because that was an intention of theirs, and I also found it comical how they came to their demise. It was interesting because there is an epilogue to this story, and I'm not gonna tell y'all who all dies, okay? Not telling you that, not telling you who the killer is, but honestly, if you start reading the book, I think it's obvious, okay? I think it's obvious. At the end, let's just say that one of the people who you thought died, it turns out that they might be making a recovery. I don't remember if I told you all this fact, but there's all the camp counselors, right? And then there's all the campers. And each camper cabin has like a different name. So there's like the bear cabin, there's the eagle cabin, there's the squirrel cabin, right? And we hang out and spend all of our time with the squirrel cabin. We don't really spend any time with any of the other campers. That's who we know the best. It's Al, Haley, and Billy from the squirrel cabin. And then the counselors for squirrel cabin are Greg and Annie. There's other people in the squirrel cabin, but we only hang out with Al, Haley, and Billy. At the end of the epilogue, two of them are talking. They're like, yeah, I mean, I guess we could call ourselves the final girls, but I don't think XYZ would be too fond of that. And then the other one is like, we could call ourselves the slasher victims. And I was like, no. The slasher victims, lame. Next, thank you, goodbye. But they were like, yeah, that's great. I'm like, y'all, come on. It's so obvious. You should call yourself the final squirrels. I'm just saying. But I was reading like the end-to-end afterward credits of the book. And there is gonna be 2 more of these. So it is part of a little series. So I'm very excited for when those come out. Because again, I really liked the writing. I felt like it was a really easy book to read. It was interesting, it was entertaining. Not every single book out there has to be a literary masterpiece. Sometimes you just want a good time, and Summer Camp for Slasher Victims was a good time. It kept me on my toes, and I loved it so much, even though I knew who was gonna be the bad guy from the jump. Even though I knew that, it was still a good time. I still had a few like, oh my God, goosebumpy moments, you know? So I'm excited for that. I think that's gonna be a good time. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I will see you tomorrow for the next installment of Booktober, coming at you with a brand new book. I gotta go read my next book.